Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Scyushi, and I've got over 100 hours in Space Marine 2 now. Most of those hours are in the PvE. The only reason I'm saying this is because I have kind of stopped covering the game on the channel and have more so just been playing it in my off time myself. It's an absolutely wonderful game, and I love it. And today I wanted to go through the patch notes with you guys. I'll put a link in the description to the patch notes so that you can just read that without going through the video. But the main reason why I'm going to end up making this video is because I have so much playtime in the game. I think that I can end up having some constructive criticism and some, thoughts towards the changes. So obviously, first and foremost, the thing that I'm the most excited for is the new operation, the new PvE map, which is the Termination map. It's going to end up having this gigantic monster right here, and apparently is going to be a gimmick fight, near as I can tell from the trailer, where you're going to utilize the tanks and so on and so forth to shoot at it. I'm extremely excited for a new mission because the PvE after 100 hours was starting to kind of get dull. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy hopping on every now and then. I will mention that I don't regularly have a squad that I run with. I most of all run it with bots because I find generally playing with players, usually they're really greedy and play the game wrong, where they don't know how to play their class properly or anything, and usually I'll end up having a team wipe, versus if I play with bots, then it's technically a lot harder because the bots are so dumb and don't deal damage to certain enemies properly. There's a lot of bugs with the game that the devs refuse to acknowledge. I'm just saying that that's where I'm at in terms of my playtime for the most part, and so that's where my opinions are coming from. Anyways, they added lethal difficulty to operations. The major highlights are ammo crates have limited refills per player, which I think is stupid, and I'll get into why. Majora's enemies can become enraged and will be more deadly and harder to kill. That right there directly feeds into the ammo crates have limited refills, because let's be real, there's a problem with this game right now where the developers are kind of balancing the game wrong, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that they need to either add more stopping power to the guns or just nerf the health pool of the enemies, because when you literally have to unload like 2 full clips of your gun into an enemy in order to stagger or execute them. Top that with the fact that the Majora's enemies usually come in waves, and suddenly it becomes really, really difficult to manage them because you're out of ammo all the time. The most recent patch just before this ended up making melee way better, like leagues better than guns in this game. Guns are actually not nearly as efficient as melee weapons are, just because guns run out of ammo. They also don't deal nearly enough damage, and you have way more survivability if you're melee, because if you parry enemies, you can usually end up getting a headshot on them or an execution, and then that'll end up healing you. And these enemies close the distance fast between them being over there and you shooting them and them running right up to you, because there's no stagger to your bullets or anything. Anyways, armor restores from finishers only if you stay close to your battle brothers. I completely disagree with that. That's really stupid. Thankfully, I play with bots, so they're always beside me, because otherwise that's just not going to work with randoms. Overcoming such a challenge will grant you new cosmetics. That I like. I'm definitely going to try lethal and hopefully get through it with a homie of mine. And I am also going to play through it with bots. Oh, they added a photo mode to operations. Oh, that's so good. Because their photo mode is beautiful. This game just looks so good. That's exciting. I'm really excited about that. Also, characters can now follow the camera with their eyes. I don't care about that so much because usually I like action shots, but I messed with the photo mode way too much in the campaign, so that's dope. Gameplay and balancing tweaks. All right, let's see how much they end up brutalizing us. Let's see. Melee archetypes. Fencing weapons' perfect parry window will now have the same duration as balanced weapons, but it will start from the first frame of a parry animation. Can you explain that better? So basically, they're saying that the perfect parry window, there was a time difference between balanced and fencing. So for those of you that don't know, that either don't play the game or whatever, balanced weapons and fencing weapons have a huge difference in how quickly you can parry an enemy. And in my opinion, fencing weapons are the best weapons in the game because they're the only ones that you can just instant cast to end up parrying. Now that it's going to be synced up with the timing of the balanced one, we'll see what happens. If I can still just completely like parry all sorts of enemies around me with fencing, I'm okay with it. I don't care. Anyways, melee perks, chain sword, power fist, combat knife, charge attack perks get significant damage increase. I wish it would just directly say how much. That's kind of good because charge attacks on the power fist have always sucked. Knife as well. Chain sword, not bad. The ground stomp is usually pretty good, but I'm glad that it deals significantly more damage because it means that I actually have something that can both stagger enemies more reliably than my light attacks, but also deal significant more damage because when you're trying to do a heavy attack at the end of your combo, usually the enemy is just attacking back at that point, so you don't get that heavy attack off in the first place. Then they got the basic Auspex scan, so that's the tactical, can use a radar that will end up debuffing enemies. And they made it so that the boss bonus damage on bosses is reduced by 30%. We'll see how that goes because I refuse to believe that these devs have actually fought against Hive Tyrant on Ruthless with bots. Because even with 2 players, it's already pretty brutal. Hive Tyrant, that used to be the map that I would run constantly because it was consistent and easier to manage. But Hive Tyrant sucks now, and more so with that, I'm just not going to deal with Hive Tyrant. They also made the Melta Charge damage to bosses reduced by 70%. So they just completely destroyed that weapon. They also made some adjustments to the enemy spawn director. That's kind of the Left 4 Dead, like the game deciding, okay, we're gonna spawn waves of enemies now type of thing. So they tweaked idle spawns, whatever the hell that means. Enemy variety within waves is now less random, while enemy variety between waves is bigger. What do they mean enemy variety? There's like 2 or 3 enemies that you can just get generated in waves. There's the different types of Majoris, and then there's the babies, the Minoris, that's it. I don't know if they're talking about extremis or just the difference between melee and ranged enemies or something. I don't know. One thing's for sure, I hope that the enemy variety within waves being less random means I don't end up having 10 Majoris spawn. Extremis enemies can now spawn with additional enemies. Could have fooled me. I thought they already did. They also made some changes to difficulty. Ruthless, ammo crates have limited refills per player in a game where you run out of ammo all the time. So this just unintentionally made melee characters even more sought after. In Ruthless, players' armor is reduced by 20%. That's fun because an enemy can hit me once and I lose all my armor anyway. And in Substantial, the player's armor is reduced by 10%. I mean, I could still do a Substantial mission just randomly and still just get absolutely destroyed based on like how the game decides to generate the opponents and stuff. And the devs basically go into mentioning that with patch 3, we have noticed that operations mode became noticeably easier. Yeah, people were complaining about it being easier, but honestly, it wasn't that easy. Especially chaos operations. I mean, chaos operations are a lot more balanced now, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're easier. Chaos missions still suck. We're happier with what we have right now compared to what we had at release. I agree. Because before patch 3, chaos missions were unpopular. They're still unpopular. Still, we think that currently operations mode is a bit too easy. I mean, yeah, I guess. They can look at the bigger picture more than I can. Overall, these changes are going to make operations mode harder. It's difficult for us to measure by how much. We'll continue to adjust, blah, blah, blah. Then they do got some PvP changes. So they increased the delay between the announcer messages and PvP. I haven't messed with PvP yet. I really should because I hear it's great. Starting animation for the grapple with Vanguard has a shorter animation. They also fixed the power fist in PvP, dealing too much damage with short charged attacks. Enemy AI, so enemy dodges have been changed. Globally replaced full invulnerability on dodge moves of enemies with heavy melee resistance. What? They replaced the full invulnerability on dodge and instead gave them heavy melee resistance. Is that what they're saying? Like they don't get invulnerable? Okay. The Rubik Marine with bolt gun, disengage teleport max distance is slightly reduced. Can you speak English, devs? We don't see the code, so I can only fathom the disengage teleport max distance is when they engage teleport and then they appear somewhere else. That's disengaging the teleport. So basically they're saying that they reduce the distance that they can teleport. My God. They also go into detail with some more customization for the chaos units, a couple decal colors. They also fixed a lot of issues with display of colors. Now they should be more lore accurate with their colors. So that's really cool, especially the Phoenician purple. I thought that the picture that they had versus the in-game colors looked a little bit off. So that's cool that they changed that. They added new Chaos faction decals for the right shoulder as well. Awesome. I'll always take more. They also mentioned that the Vox Libertalis, the Daemon host, so disabled respawn until the last altar in the final arena, whatever. Then there's some general fixes. Fixed a bug where the assault perk Ascension could kill its owner. So that's big because up until now, when you were playing Assault, you would jump into the air with your jetpack and you could just die randomly. What was actually happening with it was grenades would kill you. Whether it was your grenade or a teammate's grenade, when you're in PvE, there is no friendly fire with the grenades. But for some reason, when you would jump in the air, it's almost like PvP would turn on and your character would become vulnerable and instantly die. So that's nice that they fixed that. Fixed the bugs where the sniper's targeted shot wasn't always working in some cases. I haven't played sniper forever because I maxed him out right away because I loved him so much. Fixed unintended animation cancel with the bulwark by using block, which resulted in faster attacks. Okay, I never took advantage of that, so I don't think that affects me too much. I'm assuming people would block cancel to attack faster. Fixed an issue with the tactical team perk closing target not triggering correctly. How about you mention what closing target is? Because I only know them based on their pictures. Fixed an issue with the tactical perk radiation impact not triggering properly. Okay, cool. Sniper perk Guardian Protocol cooldown not working properly. I mean, we don't need to know what these perks are, just that they apparently didn't work. So that's pretty crazy. Fixed an issue where sound was lost after switching the speaker configuration. Never had that. Fixed several issues in trials, fixed several issues that were causing loss of saves. Ouch. Thankfully, I never dealt with that. The Thunderhammer perk patience rewarded description is now accurate with its actual effect, added when your health is below 30% part. The description never said that before, so people just thought it didn't work. That's fun. Lots of minor UI fixes and improvements, lots of minor animation fixes and improvements. Oh, localization fixes. They also have some tech. So crash fixes and general stability, nice. Fixed several connectivity issues causing players to disconnect. Slightly improved performance, nice. And fixed issues with controllers not working with Steam input enabled. Overall, a fantastic update. Still an amazing game. I can't wait to try this update out and see it for myself. If this is the type of video you guys would like to see more of in the future, I'm all for covering more Space Marine on the channel because I love this game. It's just kind of one of those things where I felt like I loved it, but you guys didn't love watching me play it or talk about it or whatever. So I don't know. Just let me know with likes, comments, whatever. You can subscribe for more, I guess. I'll definitely do more of these patch videos in the future.